Welcome back, everyone. Today I'm in the process of trying to get this 3406 cat pulled out of this 80, I think it's an 86, 87 Kenworth T600, something like that. So I picked this truck up a little while ago because I needed the injection pump for the Freightliner for the other pump on it, and more or less the governor housing, and I got that fixed. So needed the pump, bought the whole truck, you know how it goes. But I picked the whole truck up because it was relatively cheap. When I say that, considering this has a spun main bearing. It's got a good eating as far as I can tell, because they were driving it, spun a main bearing, so there's no reason why the trans shouldn't be good. Reason I want to pull this out of here is because I possibly want to turn this truck into a dump truck. It's a single axle. Let me show you real quick. I'm not going to show the doors just because it's still got DOT numbers on it and stuff. But anyhow, it's a single axle. It used to be a tandem. The guy took the front axle out, so now it's just a single rear 4-bag. It was the 8-bag, but now it's 4-bag because they only got single axle. But the tanks, those tanks are for the Freightliner. So it's a good truck. The body's good. The doors open and close good. Everything's pretty decent on the truck itself. Like I said, but the engine's bad. Trans should be good. Axle should be good. It's just been sitting a while. So my idea was turn it into a dump truck, and I probably get a lot of use out of it. And when I don't need it anymore, more or less sell it off. So that's the plan. But that's still a long ways away from even thinking about trying to accomplish that. But this needs to come out, whether or not we're going to fix it, or I doubt I'm going to try to fix it, just because it's probably going to be a lot more money to rebuild this engine than it would be to just find a donor engine to put in here. I know for a fact it would. But as you can see, it's been sitting out. Like, they pulled the head off. Like, I pulled the head off last night, but the guy, when they were trying to figure out what was wrong with it, they pulled the head off to figure out before they found the spun bearing. So more or less, there hadn't been any head bolts in it. So all this, every bolt hole, every head bolt hole is water in it. I mean, that's some serious corrosion there in the liner. So obviously, the block is probably good. There's a lot of good parts on it. And I just don't think it's going to be cost effective to try to rebuild this. Taking the crank out, getting it polished up. We'll hopefully my tractor can get it out of here, because I know this is a heavy son of a gun. But anyhow, I'm going to work on trying to get this out of here. I'm going to leave the trans, see if I can leave the trans in place. I pulled the front end off, so that way, more or less, we just pick the engine up and try to pull it through the front. But that's what we're going to be working on today. I've never pulled a big engine out of a truck, so it should be interesting. Nonetheless, might have to lose some weight on it for the tractor to pick it up. I don't know. At least probably have to ditch the forks, get all the help we can, because I know she's a heavy girl. If nothing else, we're just going to get it out, post it for sale, see if anybody needs a decent core, possibly. But yeah, let's get to work, see if we can get this thing pulled out of here. Okay, so I'm about ready to try this. We've got a couple head bolts there and there, and actually the ones that had all the water in them actually went in pretty easy, aside from there being a bunch of water in it. So that's hopeful that threads aren't that far gone. Got all the bolts out of the trans. All the engine mounts are out, or off, I should say. Front ones are off down there. I want to try this first. If this doesn't work, then we'll see. I got the trans, I got a strap around it there, and I got a jack supporting it here. So I don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to just try to lift up and see if we can even pick it up first. got it out of the truck, got it up here to the shop, make it a little easier to work on. I think I'm going to go ahead and just try to take a bunch of stuff off, try to lighten it up as much as I can. So maybe, if maybe for whatever reason I do decide, hey, I could probably use this. It's already torn down. We can easily start putting it back together. So I went ahead and took the clutch off, and what you see here, what you got there, huh? Missing a few things. These all these pieces here came out of it. Not even sure what they are really. I'm sure they're part of the bearing because I'm pretty sure that's not supposed to be like that. So, but anyhow, I'm just gonna start lightening it up a little bit. Try to get the flywheel off. I don't know if I'm gonna take much of the front end apart just yet, but let's see if we can see that spun bearing. No, it's right here somewhere. Right there. That's what spun. Now, and I was also noticing that, like, this cylinder right here, if you can tell, let me get out of the light. The cylinder is like scored. I don't know if that was pre or post, because like those cylinders look good, but this one here looks scored. So I don't know if this, more or less got if something let loose in this connecting rod, which sent stuff through the bearings, which caused the bearing to roll or spin. I don't know, but anyhow, I'm gonna try to just start taking parts off, make it a little bit lighter, a little easier to handle. Got the block stood up now. Took off the rear housing, dampener, a few other miscellaneous pieces here and there, just so I get it stood up. But here's a better look at that spun bearing. So I don't know if that's salvageable. I'm gonna go ahead and pop off. I'm gonna try to see if I can get maybe see if I can just go ahead and get all the rods and pistons out, maybe along with the liners. I might have to sabotage some pistons in order to get them out, but maybe just go ahead and try to push the pistons and the liners out. That way, say if I do want to reuse this block in the future, it'll already be broken down. Again, where I had the bolts in, they actually went in and out easy, weren't like the threads were gone or nothing. So maybe give it a pressure wash when we're done here and see what they look like, see if it's worth saving or not. But anyhow, gonna keep tearing stuff down on it. Have not been videoing all that much, but I managed to get all the pistons out. Like I said, not without some damage. I'm trying to get them out because there was quite a bit of lip on the top of the liners there. Now, so all of these look decent. All these rings are decent, except number 5. Number 5's got some good scoring on that piston. That's a pretty deep gouge right there. So I'm not sure if that's what led to the demise in the first place, why it spun a main bearing. Could be. Got a bunch of, filings in the oil, then more or less cause friction between the bearings. I don't know. But also notice this. Check that out. Both the ring gaps are like right next to each other, and the rings have not sprung out. Even on number 6, where the water was pretty bad, they're all loose on every other one of them except for this one. So I don't know if that's, I don't know what would cause that, but there is some good scoring even on the rings right there. Here's another look at number 5. Again, not as prevalent in here, but definitely scoring. Definitely a decent amount of scoring compared to like this. This is here, two's pretty good. 2, it's kind of hard to see, but there's still good crosshatch in 1 and number 2. I was thinking about just literally stripping the whole thing down right now, But I don't think I'm gonna use this anytime soon if I do. And I think this crank, it's pretty, let me get this thing to focus. It's got, can't really tell on camera, but it's got some pretty decent, like, I mean, it's got a good gouge in it. Very, definitely several thou. So I don't know if that can be ground down using an oversized bearing. I don't know what, you know, if you've got a problem in these trucks, I don't know what's common to fix, but every rod bearing, I'll show you a couple of those, but every rod journal looks pretty good. I didn't save all the bearings or more or less remember where they went, but like this is number 2, a little bit of wear in there, not much, not that bad. Here's number 1 cap. Number 1 cap looks pretty good. All the rod bearings, they weren't too bad. You see a little bit of scoring in that one. This one here, kind of an odd wear, but no real big. It's not like a real big gouge or nothing. Obviously wearing weird. But I noticed on some of the mains, I got bearings all up in here. That one there, probably got some more scoring than the rest. To those who watch that know more than I do you think this is fixable? Do you think this crank could be taken out of here and turned down, trued up? I don't know. So if it is, obviously I might think about rebuilding this thing. That's a big might, but more than likely just try to find another engine to swap into that truck if I wind up going that route. But yeah, I think for now I am just going to, I tried hitting the liners out with a sledge and they are in there. So I'm gonna have to, I made a liner puller, but I don't feel like popping these out right now. So what we're gonna do is just leave them in the block for now. I'm going to take off this front engine mount right here, pull these 6 bolts out, so that way I can lay it flat on a skid, and then we're just more or less gonna pick all this up, stack it on a skid, button it up. All the cam roller lifters, whatever you call these, they aren't as bad as I thought they'd be coming out. Some of the cam lobes are a little rusted, but the cam don't look like it's chewed up or nothing, so that's good. This is where the block is gonna be for now, meaning this current state. If you guys are interested, like I said, I went ahead and filled up some of these bolt holes with oil just so they wouldn't rust anymore, but I don't think the block is in bad shape, because the ones I cleaned out, the ones back here, and I can still see all the threads just fine. They actually somehow look clean, so I don't know, but I think the block is good. But if you guys are in need of one of this, anybody watching this, any kind of parts off this, I'm not dead set on keeping it. I'm not, dead set on using it. So if anybody needs something, send me an email down below, jesse@panicfabrications.com. But I'm going to leave it at this. I'm going to clean up my mess, and then that's going to be it for this video. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you guys on the next one.